My name is Eurica Shaw. I am Jamaican and I left home after working for a short time as a stenographer, which my fellow Jamaicans would know what that meant.
No, I don't.
Well, it's just typing and, office work.
Okay.
With the intention of, I went off to America. And when I approached the airport in Jamaica, I was so lost. It was such a small airport. And anyway, from Jamaica I went to New York. I remembered I lived in Brooklyn with the intention of going to Chicago to do some nursing. And I remember that many of my friends, although they were scattered, they went to either America, Canada, or Britain, which I was interested in. I didn't want to study in America, and my cousin, she tried relentlessly to get me to Canada or wherever, but I was emphatic about traveling to England. So I booked my passage, and eventually I got a seat on the Queen Mary. So I had a fantastic journey over. But I was very nervous about traveling on this boat, so I asked my cousin, what is a boat, the inside, etc. Was it like? And she said, very first lady, she said, my dear, it's like a floating city. So I traveled on the Queen Mary. I came off at Southampton, and oh my goodness, looking at the boat, it was beautiful. But on the other side, the houses were so dull. I came in October, there were smoke fumes everywhere.
These factories.
Yes. Then I had to travel up to Oxford, where I was going to start a hospital in Oxford, but then they were not ready for me as yet. So I had to spend 2 nights at the YMCA. Yes. Then I started to work probably the Saturday, and I did a day, and then it was night duty. I've never worked night duty before, but there was a Swedish nurse who took me under her wings. Those days, although we had our qualifications and a good education, I went for the SEN training, but I did very well and I worked hard. And then I went for my SRN. And I thought to be a qualified nurse, you must do your midwifery. So I went and did the midwifery. And part 2 I did in Swindon. And I could remember this midwife, you were attached to a midwife. She thought I would be good to do the tutoring, but I wasn't interested. So I went and did a course in pediatrics, just a year. And then I went off to Scotland in Melrose and did psychotherapy there, which I enjoyed. Under Maxwell Jones. Then I came back and I got a job in Bath, but after quite a senior job. while in Bath, my hay fever was so bad because Bath has so many trees, you know. So I thought I would travel up to London, where I had a very good friend. She was senior nurse in the Lamlet. So while you were at George's, I was at Springfield.
Lovely.
Yes, I worked at Springfield as a very senior nurse. And also I used to tutor the girls that was the time that they were taking the university students. So they had to come up to us for some experience, etc. I did Springfield for about 12 years. I got a bit bored, so I got a job in charge of this hospital at Crown Point. It's for the disabled and various muscular illnesses. So but I was studying at that time. Once I came to London, I went to PCL, and then after working at Crown Point, I went on the district for a time, which gave me a lot of, well, I'll say, while at Springfield, that's the time I moved to Southwark, 1973. In a little area, Honor Oak, where it was very open. Only 3 blacks were there at that time. But we had everything in Honor Oak. So there was no need to visit Peckham quite often. And then again, we had shops in Lordship Lane. Everything we were catered for. The work or job in the community was very fact findings, because there you work with the patients, their relatives. I have even arranged funerals for, people who had no relatives or. So then I retired, and I thought, well, I will give myself fully to the church. I hadn't mentioned this, but then in 73, when I came to London, I joined St. John's Church and was very instrumental in the church. And with my background in caring, I used to visit the sick, black and white, because there's no prejudice in me. And sometimes I used to take them communion. Then we had summer schools at the Cathedral, Trinity House. So I did the summer school, and then I thought, well, so I did a course at Heathrow, and nearing to my exams, I had to give it up because my brother in Oxford was quite ill, and I had to give a lot of care. But then he passed. So what I did a course in the ministry at Trinity House. And I show you, this is us. You will hear about the
So where is this?
Trinity House is close to you. Your office. It's the head office of the Church of England. It's Trinity House. Yes, you know where it is.
Are these your colleagues?
Yes, that's when we
And you
went.
worked here, did you?
I could have brought further photographs. That's when we went to the Surrey at Witchcroft for a weekend.
Okay.
Yes, that's the batch.
And that's you there, is it? The
Yeah.
purple and the pink. Is that you there?
I'm student.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Southwark? How long have you lived in
I
Southwark?
lived in Southwark since 1973.
Are you still here or are you in Southwark?
I have
Yeah.
my properties in Southwark.
Wow, okay.
And I haven't said this, but while I was moving up and down and studying, and you know, I used to visit my relatives twice and per year. And when mother got very feeble,
Mhm.
I used to go thrice per year,
Yeah.
even for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And what, just to, in a sentence or two, if you could just tell me what it is about Southwark that's kept you here.
Well, when I came to Southwark in 73, as I said, in this prestigious corner of Dulwich, the house was bought from Mr. Rye. He's a Jewish man that owns the Rye Lane, and therefore I met a relative of his in Springfield, and he was going to, the place was going to be sold, and they would very much like me to buy that house. And at that time it was just about 3 blacks living in that area. But I was well received. They looked after me really.
Wonderful.
I'm still living in that house over 40
Wow.
odd years, nearly 50. Also, while doing all this, to learn about to get to know the people in Southwark, I mingled because, you know, I was very instrumental, as I said, in the church. We have the summer fairs, and we had these puppies' days. I used to go and do the things, and we had Christmas dues, and also with you, we met on campaigning in the London Citizens. We did a good campaign for
living wage.
which the wage went up. Also, I campaigned on this Dulwich Road. That's why you have all these, what you call them now?
The lower traffic zones?
Yes, the traffic zones, they weren't there before. And many, many more things, you know,
Very industrious and hardworking.
because I think Southwark is very caring for the
Older people.
yes,